There we go. Dramatic pause there for a second. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is the man who got a leer, who got a dirty look from Ken Rosenthal this weekend, all because he was right behind him taking pictures with the camera. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I'm just a little surprised. I've had no problems with Ken, and I don't know why he gave me the side eye like that. Okay, I thought we were cool, Ken. I thought we were cool, but I'm doing okay. I'm ready to talk some football, man. The young season so far, some pretty good games, and I'm excited to talk all about it with you tonight. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been yesterday was the rebrand of Victory Monday, which is now known as Just Embrace the Suffering.
Oh man,
kill me. But no, it was good to get that out of our system. I'm hoping that this is the last time this season we're going to see a non-competitive Jets team on the field. But we had good talk yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. We had some new cred heads come in. We're up to 413 subscribers.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, so we're good. No, we're getting up there. So we're hoping for the drive to 500. Hopefully, it ends this year. It concludes this year. We can get ourselves some monetization and some new people in the chat. New cred heads jumping in every once in a while. So we got some comments in the comment section already. But we're going to get to everything that we talked that in week two. In week two, had to provide that we're going to had our interest peaking. But before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media. Follow us on these platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, including these platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and Podbean. Don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and YouTube so you know when we go live. And also when there's show announcements, making more posts in the community posts and on the YouTube channel. You can also get notified of clips of the show that go up. So because this show is live 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And programming note, Saturday show will be at 7:30 Eastern time p.m., not a.m., p.m., because I'll be away from Thursday morning through Saturday afternoon, and I'll be back, and we'll do a Saturday evening show, which will preview week 3 of the NFL season. We'll preview week 3. I'll talk about the Thursday night game that I won't watch, but I'll catch up on on highlights, so you don't want to miss it then. Also, rate, review, comment. A 5-star rating would be helpful on the podcast side. Review wherever you can review podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchaser. Also, if you're on Spotify, leave us a comment. We'll go back and read them on every show. And also on the Belly Up YouTube side, because this show will be on Belly Up YouTube on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Leave a comment. What was your most surprising thing to you in week 3? What was the most disappointing thing to you in week 3? If there's any observations that you have, let us know in the comments. And Dustin, it's actually my Thursday, because I'm not at work tomorrow. I go out of town Thursday, but this is my Friday. So tomorrow's my Friday. Today's my Thursday, technically. So, but even though today's my Thursday, I'm always jonesing for that time of the show.
It's that time. It's chime time.
Let it rhyme. We have some comments in the comment section. As always, Desi from Coastal Alabama joining us, saying hello, fellas. Good evening to you, my lady. Mm-hmm. Eli Betts, one of our Jets fans, is checking in, saying howdy, howdy. Hey, Eli, how'd that bet Michael Clemens getting a sack workout for you?
Oh man!
I'm just poking your chain. I'm just yanking your chain, Eli. Stick around. Julie from Michigan saying hello, gentlemen. Oh, and I Dustin, I got a new element.
Ooh, all right.
I bet Julie was saying this to Ben Johnson after the game on Sunday, and as was most Lion fans.
Oh no! What What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How terrible! Oh no!
That's one of my new favorite memes on the YouTube side. Count Dankler for the win. Desi saying it's a great day. It's great, in quotes. Be a Jets fan. Throwing up emoji. She also at least had the Seahawks. Julie saying, or the Lions. Eli saying he'll be betting on the game on Thursday. Kevin Wilson saying, Seahawks!
Oh, we're going to talk about it, Kevin.
We are. Eli also says, I actually bet the over 0.5 personal fouls. Good for you, Eli. At least you won something. Spencer checking in saying it's football season. Sadness about my Vikings and JJ McCarthy injury. His dad, Ryan, no relation. Poor game plan, poor play for the Vikings by McCarthy. Don't know. We're actually going to talk about that, Spencer. Stick around because there's a certain. It'll be before the commercial break. But let's get things going. Let's talk about week 2 in the NFL. We're going to start off with our most entertaining games of week 2 of the NFL season. And Dustin, I'm going to have you lead off. Which game to you was the most entertaining in week 2?
Well, there was a couple picks for week 2. Broncos Colts. I might get to it later in the show, but not for this category. Full disclosure, you picked the game that I would want to pick for most entertaining game, but it's not to worry because one of the most surprisingly entertaining games on the entire slate, in my opinion, was Patriots Dolphins. Okay, yeah. This game had it going, and you have to credit to both teams, okay? I skewered Miami last week. I was not the only one. A lot of people did. I said they looked like they never played football before. They responded. They responded a little bit and kind of got off the mat offensively. Their defense still looks terrible, which is part of the reason why this game was so entertaining, because the Dolphins defense made Drake May look much better than he did in week 1 against the Raiders.
Right.
And, I think it speaks. Neither team could really stop the other defensively. New England got a couple of key stops when it mattered. That was the difference in this game. But to use an old cliche, sometimes they work. This had the feel of a boxing match. Both the teams went back and forth. Miami rebounded after getting shut out in the first half, or in the first quarter, rather. They didn't score at all in the first half, but then A-Chain got it going. He was really a little bit of the difference in this one for Miami. He was able to run on New England a little bit. New England, as I mentioned, Drake May looked much better. He was throwing it around. And Ramondre Stevenson, he's looked great for the Patriots. But these two teams were going back and forth. They were scoring. This game had 2 returns back to back. I can't remember the last time that happened. The first one was by Miami. It was Malik. What was it? Malik Johnson. I'm trying to remember his name. I got it in my notes here, but I can't find it. And then it was Antonio Gibson for the Patriots. They went back to back. One was 74 yards respectively. The other one was a little bit more than that. I think close to 90. So quite a back-to-back return. And then you thought Devon A-Chain had ended it with a touchdown for the Dolphins, but he stepped out of bounds. It was determined that he stepped out of bounds, and then New England they were able to score, and they got the stop they needed. Game over. Victory for New England. Now, I must confess, this is the game I saw most of, unfortunately, because my friend Derek invited me over to have some pizza and watch some football. And so we had Red Zone on one of the screens, but we had the Dolphins audio and the Dolphins game. So that's what I saw most of, but not to worry. It was a great game in its own right.
I'm saying the over-under on beers consumed by Derek in that game was 3.
Yeah, so he did. I brought some Oktoberfest over. He did go through a couple of those, and then he had an IPA, but he stopped, but there may have been some choice words said at the TV. He was not happy with the performance of his Dolphins. He at one point said, "I don't know why I root for this team." and went to get the pizza doughs out of the fridge at one point. And meanwhile, I was watching my Seahawks as much as I could, but we'll get to that later.
But before I get to my entertaining game of the week, I got to tell you the story. I may have told this story before to you, but I might as well tell it to the audience. I have a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him. I got to reach out to him because the Jets are playing the Broncos this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Arizona, but he's a Broncos fan. And I went to his house for the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl that was at MetLife. And I went to his house. This was his old house. He's a basement. He lived near my brother Jim. His man cave in his basement. And I wore my old school Seattle Mariners hat and my Colorado Avalanche jersey because I had to represent both teams at the event. So at the party. And I actually again I always make my bowl of chili. Make my big crock pot of chili. That's why I brought over. So because I'm known for that. But we're watching, and I'm just watching him melt down in front of my eyes before halftime. He's throwing mini Snickers at the television during the game, and like the whole meltdown. I just see him melt down. I didn't feel bad for him. I just laughed. Myself and my friends around us, we're just laughing. We're just laughing hysterically because of him just throwing candy at the TV. The following season, we go to his house for some NFL games. You know what we find behind the television?
Some mini Snickers, huh?
Mini Snickers. And he actually opened it up and ate it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's a good guy. I met him a few times. I went over to his house myself once. I think that's the first time I tried your famous chili, Ryan. So was that a football gathering there?
Yes.
But it's funny. It's funny. I was scrolling through social media on my lunch break, of course, at work, and Joe Buck came up talking about that game, and he said his wife's a Broncos fan, and he's like, "Oh, Troy and I did our pre-Super Bowl prep with the Broncos. It was good. They were relaxed. We were on their team bus. We were just hanging out." He goes, "Then we went and saw the Seahawks on Thursday, and I went home and I told my wife, I don't think you're going to like this game." And he said, I turned to Troy and I said, the Broncos have no chance. He said that was one I could see coming. The Seahawks looked ready to run through a wall on Thursday. So according to Joe Buck now, he saw it coming.
Yeah. Spencer saying also sports ball. Yes, sports ball. Julie saying that my element. Oh no. She says that was amazing. Eli saying Broncos Colts was entertaining. That's my runner-up, actually. That was my runner-up because I was hanging out with my friend Joe. He's a Colts fan, and we were watching the game together. The 4:05 start. That was an entertaining game. That's my runner-up, actually, but I'll reveal mine in a second. And Eli saying meh. Patriots Dolphins. That was my self-hatred game of the week, but it actually did turn out to be all right. Eli saying find a new friend to replace Derek. Eli's a Jets fan. Dustin's a Seahawks fan. Eli, so
yeah,
he's known Derek for a while. And Julie says Sports Julie can relate to choice words at the television. Yeah. I was. This was me at the local watering hole. Keeping my feelings inside, by the way.
Yes.
On Sunday afternoon.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
I still love that.
And on the inside. Outside, I was enjoying myself with some friends and company, and it was fun. All right, back to the most entertaining game of week 2. And my pick was the Giants and the Cowboys because we've had some candidates for game of the year so far, and we're only 2 weeks in. Last week was the Bills and Ravens on Sunday night. This game certainly was a contender, and it's in the thumbnail. Well, with Malik Neighbors with Game of the Year candidate as the text under him. But it seemed like it was at least early. It was going to be a slog because the Giants' first drive of the game was 16 plays and took up nearly 9 minutes. It ended with a field goal. It was just terrible. It was terrible. The first half overall was a slog, but the game picked up in the third quarter. 52 combined points in the second half. And in the fourth quarter alone, there were five 5. Shout out Booker T. 5 lead changes. And that what included that absolute bomb by Russell Wilson to Malik Neighbors. Again, candidate for catch of the year now.
Yeah.
As if the season ended right now, but the season's not ending. We still have 15 weeks to go, mercifully. But that looked like it was going to be the sealer. It was going to seal the game, but Giants left too much time on the clock. And Dallas wound up getting some yardage. And Brandon Aubrey, my goodness, bionic leg that is Brandon Aubrey, 64-yard field goal that looked good from 70. Yeah. I keep saying on this program, we saw a 70-yard field goal in the preseason. We're going to see a 70-yarder eventually in the NFL. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. And like I said, Brandon Aubrey from 64 yards, it looked like it could have been good from 70 or 75. He had that much into it. So go to overtime. Teams exchange possessions. You think, okay, this is going to end up in a tie, isn't it? Is it going to end up in a tie? But nope. Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited was cooking up something, but he cooked up an interception. With Donovan Wilson picking off that pass, Russell trying to go into the well too many times. From Malik Neighbors, and he overthrew him. Winds up going to Donovan Wilson. Dak and the Cowboys get those yardage, the yardage needed. Aubrey kicks it from 46 yards. At the bar, it's funny at the bar, my local watering hole where I usually go to watch football. I said to the people sitting next to me or while watching the game, because it's a roller coaster. It's an absolute roller coaster, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I said to the people who were watching, we're all watching together, I said, what if Brandon Aubrey misses? They go, no! But he didn't. 46-yard field goal. Game over. Cowboys win 40-37. Man, that was fun.
What a game. And we might just talk about the game a little bit more later in the show. And specifically Russell Wilson. I must say, now I told this to my uncle in the first quarter. Uncle Al, you and I usually text a bit when we're watching football. And I told to him, because there was a deep ball that Russ threw in the first quarter, and I said, when he has time, being the key words, when he has time, he still throws one of the prettiest deep balls in the NFL. And Uncle Al said that was pretty. But then what really shot the Giants in the foot and why their first drive took so long, all those penalties, ridiculous penalties, 15 for the game, I think, for the Giants. So, but man, Russell Wilson, hey, you proved you still had it. That one throw, though, that was a bad way to lose.
Yeah, it's a terrible way to lose. But the rest of us, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, it's a terrible way to lose. If you're a Cowboys fan, it's elation. You're back to 500. We're going Super Bowl, right? We're going Super Bowl, right? Dak going to lead the way. We're going Super Bowl. Chill out. It's week 2. The rest of us, though, it was fun. It's fun to watch. Absolutely fun to watch. All right. Biggest upset of week 2, and I'm going to lead us off here. Your Seahawks.
Ooh.
Your Seahawks. That's my nominee for biggest upset of week 2. And I honestly didn't know what to expect in this game. Seahawks were coming off a tough loss. Pittsburgh coming off a tough win, tougher than expected win. They needed a 60-yard field goal to win that game against my Jets. And this is likely the rubber match between Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold, because Aaron Rodgers beat Sam Darnold in 2018. Darnold beat Rodgers last year, the Viking in London. This time, it's in Pittsburgh. We could see this matchup for the very last time, depending on what Aaron Rodgers does. And this was, a typical defensive game. I guess you thought it was going to be on Sunday in Seahawks sessions. It's going to be a defensive battle. It was tied up at 14 in the fourth quarter. And then the football gods decide to visit. Because sometimes when it comes to upsets, you need the football gods to shine upon you. You need the football gods to shine upon you. And the Seahawks got it. They gone up by 3. They kicked the field goal in the fourth quarter to go up 3. And kickoff lands in the drop zone. Still, I hate that expression. The drop zone. And it goes past Caleb, the Steelers returner Caleb Johnson, which at first I thought it glanced off his helmet.
Oh, okay.
I thought it glanced off his helmet, but actually went through his hands. And he thought, "Oh, the play's over." But George Halani, I think, was he an RDFA or was he a draft pick?
I gotta look that up. Hold, please. George Helwani. This is scintillating audio.
Yeah,
here. He
I'm looking it
is.
up too.
He was an undrafted free agent,
UDFA.
signed with the Seahawks in 2023.
Okay, so UDFA guy, been playing the Seahawks for a couple of years. He has a presence of mind. He did what his coaches taught him: play to the whistle. He didn't hear no whistle, so he kept going, and the ball dies a few feet short of the end zone. Halani recovers it. There's some confusion. Referees commiserate. You see the hands go up. And then you figure, all right, somebody's going to throw a challenge flag. This is going to do a booth review. They're going to overturn it. It's going to be a touchback. Nope. Play stood. No challenge flag from Mike Tomlin. And from there, the momentum shifted to the Seahawks, and they wound up winning by 2 scores. And this, and just for historic purposes. So this has actually happened before. It happened in 2023. When the Patriots did it. So we haven't seen a kickoff return recovery in a while. But this is the first kickoff recovery touchdown by the Seahawks. Since November 29th, 1981. Seahawks fan Dustin was not even a glimmer in his daddy's eye the last time this happened to the Seahawks. And again, this turned the fortune of the game around. The Seahawks kept going. They dominated the rest of the game on defense. They got another touchdown to really put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
And Seahawks, they win the game, and that was my biggest upset of week 2. Dustin, over to you. Your biggest upset of week 2.
Well, my biggest upset, this is where we're going to get to it, Eli, so don't worry. I didn't forget about the Colts-Broncos. The Colts over the Broncos is my biggest upset of the week, and I'm gonna tell you why. After week 1, I did not buy into the Colts at all. I said, nice game for Daniel Jones, but it was against an inept Dolphins defense, an inept Miami defense, which they still look that way. They've made Daniel Jones and Drake May look great respectively. Now the season's too young. Don't know which is more of an indicator, because I thought the Broncos defensively were much better than Miami. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to be much better based on their success last year. Sean Payton really started to rebuild that defense and get them playing up to the level that they were capable of a few seasons ago after a bit of a drop-off. He really kind of, as much as I heaped a bunch of garbage on Sean Payton for what he did with the Russell Wilson contract situation and benching Russell in favor of Jared Stidham and some of the comments he made, you got to give him credit for rebuilding that defense and building that team in his image and getting them to play the way that they have. I was surprised to see the Colts take it to the Broncos the way they did. Jonathan Taylor,
especially in the second half.
Yes, Jonathan Taylor had a few huge runs in the second half to the tune of 165 yards, averaging 6.6 yards a carry. Daniel Jones looks rejuvenated for the Colts. I don't buy it. At some point, I think he will turn back into a pumpkin. We have too much data on Daniel Jones, but maybe he becomes the Sam Darnold of this year. I mean, he had that one great year for the Giants, which you can't take away from him, but he had a lot of other things, a lot of other years that were not so great for the Giants. Mm-hmm. But, maybe his time under the quarterback guru in Minnesota last year was helpful. Who knows? And maybe he's found a situation where he can finally thrive. But I did not expect this Colts team to perform the way that they did and hang with the Broncos. Now, they beat the Broncos with some controversy late. Just basically, they gave the field goal kicker another shot at the field goal because the Broncos got a personal foul penalty called. They thought they were coming away with the win, but then they got a 15-yard penalty, moved the field goal kicker closer.
Yep.
But still, this was an upset to me because I do not buy that the Colts can keep this up. But I'm starting to become a believer, but call me a skeptic. I think eventually the wheels are going to come off, and the fairy godmother's dust is going to wear off. But until then, great game for the Colts. Great start to the season. Daniel Jones, hats off to you. You hung with a team that I thought was better than you.
Yeah, that Colts defense tightened up in the second half because they gave up 21 points in the first. And I was sitting next to my friend at the at our local watering hole. Well, actually, I could say at the factory. We were there last weekend.
Yes,
before we saw Dave Landau. Shout out Dave Landau if you're watching. But we were at the bar, and we were because again, Joe is it's his team. It was 21 to 20 after the first half. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a shootout. I didn't expect this. Broncos going to score early in the second half, and then the Colts defense pitched a shutout. It did an excellent job, an absolutely outstanding job. And every time the Colts got in the red zone, and my friend Joe looks at me, he just goes, "Yep, in the red zone." We F up for 3 plays, and then we'll kick a field goal. And sure, shooting every time. Field goal. And then I got to give credit where credit's due to the Colts defense. The Colts defense tightened up. Cam Bynum got that interception late that you figure the Colts the Broncos, were driving in the battle of the horses. The Broncos were driving. And Bo Nix has been playing superb. He played superb in this game until that one moment. Yep. And what's interesting that you saw this week a lot, you saw a lot of this week between quarterbacks and their head coaches. You saw it in the Jaguars game between Trevor Lawrence and this guy, Duval. They got into it. And Sean Payton and Bo Nix got into it. After Bo Nix throws that interception, you see them, Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So Sean Payton said something to Bo Nix as Bo Nix is walking, and you see Bo Nix turn around and say something back to Payton. They're exchanging words. I thought to myself, "Oh boy, maybe this is just an aberration. Maybe it's just heads coming together. It's a hot time because you just threw an interception, and they figure the defense is going to pick it up and." Colts drive, it misses 60-yarder, and that weird personal foul penalty because the defense, the special teams for the Broncos went up the middle, and you can't do that. You can't go up the middle on the long snapper. Move it up 15 yards. Colts kick a field goal. Colts win the game, and that was a fun game to watch. That was a fun game to watch. I felt good for my friend because he's a Colts fan. He's kind of wondering where they are right now. They're kind of in different waters. They got decent personnel, except that quarterback, and Daniel Jones is still kind of figuring it out with Shane Steichen's program. So, but congrats to the Colts. Broncos got to go back to the drawing board. Let's go to some comments in the comments section here. Eli saying Panda Express has really fallen off. Are you having Panda Express for dinner, Eli? I actually had to look up. I had to look up to see which NFL player was nicknamed Panda Express, and there's no player named Panda Express. So maybe he's having dinner. Eli is asking, didn't one player have 4 penalties in a row? Yes, it was a Giants offensive lineman who got 4 penalties on that first drive for the Giants. That's why it went 16 plays.
Yeah.
Now, I can't read this comment from Wonko. But I will say it happened again in Cincinnati. And the CBS thought it was a flag. So they... We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. America's back, baby. It's not a WNBA game either. So I thought that was weird. Yeah, and Eli saying that the Broncos, their prize free agent pick, Dre Greenlaw, is still out. They can't reach full potential without him. But yes, the run defense is a concern. Yeah, I would agree. And I thought the run game was a concern on the offensive side of the ball too, but they did pretty
Yeah.
well this week. All right, we're going to move quickly to the biggest disappointment in week 2. Dustin, I'll have you lead off here.
Well, I'm sorry to do it to you, Ryan. I didn't want to do it to you.
Go ahead, I did it
I know you
yesterday.
discussed it, and I was searching for something else. Okay, I was searching. I really was. But to me, the biggest disappointment it's Justin Fields. It's
Mhm.
Justin Fields. I mean, the Jets defense. I'm not going to put this loss on them. When you're on the field so much, you're bound to tire out. Okay, there's not much that they can do. You can only do so much, and it's got to be demoralizing. I've never played defense in the NFL, but if you can't stop anybody and you're gassed because you're on the field because your offense isn't getting it done, that's got to be tough. So I do not lay this at the Jets defense. Okay, now you're going to say to yourself, Justin Fields, he went out with a concussion in this game. Yes, but that wasn't until the fourth quarter. He was 3 for 11 for 27 passing yards, a lot of which came on one pass because his longest pass of the day was 18 yards. Okay.
Yep.
So Justin Fields, I was very complimentary of him after his week 1 win. I said, you know what? He's showing me something. He is proving me wrong, because if you remember on our preseason prediction show, I said that the reason that I didn't have the Jets making the playoffs is because I watched some of the preseason games, and everybody says preseason's preseason, and I agree with you, but you can take some things away from it. The way that Justin Fields was missing throws, I said, this might be a problem. And those problems reared their ugly head in week 2 against a Bills defense that looks to be better than I gave them credit for. I didn't know what the Bills were going to be like. They've had some losses on defense, but they're looking good right now. James Cook is looking like an all-world beater at running back. We'll see if he can keep it up. But man, I just was so disappointed because I had picked this to be a sneaky competitive game because the Jets defense has given Josh Allen fits at his time. He's struggled at MetLife at times throughout his career. And I thought Justin Fields had really figured it out. And he even fumbled when he ran the ball. He had a great run. Okay. Justin Fields, he had a great run, rumbling for, I think, about 48 yards, but on a previous run before that, he's going to get a first down easily. He gets hit and he fumbles. It just was a tough game for Justin Fields. And Tyrod Taylor came in the fourth quarter. He threw for 56 yards, much faster. So it's just disappointing for me to see Justin Fields follow up a brilliant debut in Pittsburgh. It really was. It really was. Brilliant debut against Pittsburgh to follow it up with a game like this. It was disappointing. It was disappointing.
Yeah. Eli agrees with you. Jets, Jets, baby. And so does Desi. Yeah. I hated to see Justin Fields revert into Zach Wilson, but unfortunately he did in this game. My biggest disappointment was the Minnesota Vikings. They had an opportunity to build upon their glorious comeback victory on Monday night, and instead they pooped the bed in an ugly game on Sunday night against Atlanta. Vikings defense, to their credit, they held up their end of the bargain. They played fairly well. They limited the Falcons to 5 field goals. 5 field goals. 5. Sorry, I won't do that again.
I think Booker T was at that game.
I love Booker T. Booker T was he was at the Texans game.
Oh, the Texans game. That's right. I had it wrong. I knew he was at one.
Yeah, he was at the Texans game last night because he's from Houston. He's got the wrestling school down in Houston. Plus, they were cross promoting with the WrestlePalooza on Saturday night, baby. Anyway, back to the Vikings. Defense played well. They held up their end of the bargain, but their offense, woof, Buzz, your girlfriend. They played like they played the first 3 quarters in Chicago on Monday night, but it played for the entire game. Can't run the ball. JJ McCarthy, no relation, got sacked 6 times.
Yep.
2 of their best offensive linemen left the game with injury, Ryan Kelly and Justin School. Alex Van Ginkel got hurt on defense. And then we found out at the end of the game, JJ McCarthy suffered a sprained ankle too. And he's questionable for Sunday's game in Cincinnati. So Is it starting to get late very early for the Vikings? I don't know. By the way, Carson Wentz season's coming.
Yeah.
You got that, Vikings?
I forgot he was the backup. I thought he was still with the Chiefs. I forgot about that.
He's a free agent. He was a free agent. They I forgot who they waived, and they brought in Carson Wentz to be their backup. But I see Julie in the comment saying womp womp. She's also saying this.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
I'm gonna kill that element. I swear. It's so great. Spencer agreeing, saying Vikings. Eli's asking Spencer what happened to the Jets and the good old fashioned butt kicking, because Spencer asked what happened to the Jets. Yeah, that's what happened. It was terrible. And by the way, FYI, in terms of injuries, the reason why Justin Fields got taken out of the game is because he was in concussion protocol. So we might see some Tyrod Taylor in the lineup this week. Let's see.
You might.
Against Tampa. And this is, again, they're playing Tampa this week. So if the Buccaneers stop the run, they're going to try to blitz the heck out of whoever's in the backfield for the Jets. And I think Aaron Glenn has said that if Justin Fields ain't practicing, he ain't playing this week. So we'll see. We'll see what happened. But we're going to get to more in just a moment. But we just want to talk to you about one of our new sponsors here at No Credentials Required. And that would be Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Boom! Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. There it is. And it's all its glory. It's beautiful. Again, this episode's fueled by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, the outlaw of the snack world since 2011. Forget the gas station stuff. This jerky is all natural, low sugar, and absolutely packed with flavor. Every 2-ounce bag delivers 20 grams of protein, made with beef that has no added hormones, no antibiotics, and no shady business. But jerky is just the beginning. Righteous Felon's lineup also includes beef sticks for on-the-go snacking, tender turkey jerky that's light but still packs a punch, an authentic South African-style biltong that melts in your mouth. Flavors range from savory classics like OG Hickory and Victorious BIG, which is their honey bourbon, to spicy kicks like Habanero Escobar and Carolina Reaper. So whether you want smooth, smoky, or fiery heat, they've got you covered. Don't forget, they've even got Wild Ranger dog treats for your four-legged sidekick can enjoy the snack game too. Pickles approved. Head over to righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code NOCREDS at checkout to score 15% off your order. Plus, when you spend over $50, shipping is free. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, where flavor is the crime, and you're guilty of enjoying every bite. Again, promo code NOCREDS at checkout, 15% off your order at righteousfelon.com. Plus, free shipping for every order of $50 or more. Let's go to the comments section here. Let's go to the comments section. Eli saying, that's what I'm talking about. Clean jerky. And Spencer saying, I'm mostly indifferent about the Jets. Panda Express is my love. I thought Raising Cane's was your love, Spencer. Oh, goodness. All right. Let's talk about the most impressive performance or performances of week 2. I'm going to lead off because I've got not one, not 2, but 3 impressive performances from week 2 of the NFL. Let's start in Los Angeles. And I'm not talking about the Rams. I'm talking about the Chargers, who should still be in San Diego. Let's talk about Diane Henley. Diane Henley, in last night's game against the Raiders, 10 tackles. 7 of those tackles were solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 passes defended, 1 sack, which was the dagger, which was at the time the supposed dagger, but it wound up being the dagger late in the fourth quarter on fourth down when the Raiders are trying to keep the game alive. Geno Smith gets backpedals, can't find anybody open. Henley gets right to him. Henry's nickname, by the way, is the Ranger. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, Diane Henley's nickname is the Ranger. So that's my first notable performance. Our second notable performance, Parker Romo of the Atlanta Falcons, 5 for 5 off the practice squad, playing in place of the injured Young Hui Koo, including a 54-yard field goal in their win against the Vikings. And last but not least, the Indianapolis Colts, for this specific reason. They're the second team in the Super Bowl era to not punt in their first 2 games of the season. They did not punt against the Miami Dolphins. They actually scored on every single drive. And in their game against the Broncos, the 2 times they had a chance to punt, wound up going for it on 4th down and short. And I have to think that Shane Steichen's philosophy this season is to go for it on 4th down if they're at their own 50 or they're inside their opponent's territory, because both those 4th down gambles were at midfield. And yeah, no punts at all this year for the first 2 games of the season. The second time in the Super Bowl era that's happened. So those are my most impressive performances of week 2. I got to come up with some sort of award. The Risey, the Remy, the Max Stradom. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Dustin, your most impressive performance or performances of week number 2.
All right. Well, my Dusto goes to no.
The Dusto.
Yeah. I gotta see. I have a bad habit, and I've called myself out. And then you also have mentioned it. I like to go with running backs because I'm a running back fan. I go with quarterbacks, wide receivers. It's time to give a shout out to the defense, okay? You got to pick the Atlanta Falcons for me. They were unbelievable, okay? Yes, J.J. McCarthy is a rookie at quarterback. That's part of it. Yes, the Vikings had to deal with offensive line injuries that really hampered them to some degree. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get the running game going, but part of that is due to the way the Atlanta Falcons defense was playing. They limited the Vikings to 78 total rushing yards on 19 carries. They sacked J.J. McCarthy 6 times. They also picked him off twice. They just played a complete game against the Vikings and really left it so that their offense didn't have to do much to win that game. The defense was unbelievable. You got to, and people can say, oh, well, J.J. McCarthy's a rookie and the Vikings had the offensive line injuries. You can make excuses, but we all know that we'd hold Atlanta accountable if they did not take advantage of those things. And they did. And they did what a defense is supposed to do. They shut the Vikings down. And Kevin, I see your comment in the chat, and Russ is my honorable mention. Shout out to Russell for proving for at least 1 week. There was a lot of people that wanted to shovel dirt on the grave of Russell Wilson multiple times. Maybe you don't like his personality. Maybe you don't like the way he left Seattle. Maybe you're a Broncos fan and you are not happy, but that second year in Denver, he had him in contention. Remember that. And when Russell Wilson is given time, he still throws one of the prettiest deep balls in the NFL. The interception notwithstanding, he got it going. He proved to a lot of people he can still play. I hope he keeps it going.
So what you're saying for both of our picks, we had to say this.
Can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I had Jillian Walker on the thumbnail for this week for this program for tonight's program. More comments in the comment section. Keep them coming, folks. This is great. I love the interactive element of the show, especially during football season. Spencer and Eli having discussion about Panda Express and Raising Cane's. Desi saying what happened to the Jets is that I became a fan. Now, don't get down. It's only 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks, Desi. There's much more misery to come.
For your sake, I hope not. And
I hope not
also
either.
Scott.
I mean,
Also, I feel bad. I feel bad for Scott.
I gotta say something to the Jets fans out there, though. I mean, to my fellow Jets fans, can you calm stifle your tatas a little bit, okay? People are already comparing, and yes, the game on Sunday wasn't great.
Mhm.
Some people are already comparing him to Robert Saleh, and it's like, guys, come on.
No.
They just got outclassed by a better opponent in the
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills, who, at every single level in terms of team building, they're at least 3 shades above the Jets in terms of team building and culture. I mean, that's a team they're on a mission this year. Let's
Yeah.
just face it, they're on a mission. Kevin Wilson saying if the answer to most impressive isn't Russell Wilson, it's wrong. Well, if you go back a little bit, I explained my 3, so those are my picks, and too bad, so sad. Desi saying at least I had the Seahawks. And Eli saying we gotta get this new regime at least 3 years before we can start jumping conclusions. Absolutely, we need to give him 3 seasons. We need to give Aaron Glenn 3 seasons. Yes, because let's face it, like some of this talent some of the talent they have on the field is from the last era, and actually the last 2 eras. If you count McCagnon and if you count Mike McCagnon, you still have a couple of holdovers from that era. So let's give it time.
Yeah. I completely agree. It's the same thing. You know, people want to say, "Oh, why'd the Seahawks extend John Schneider?" Blah blah blah. Well, the thing is, Pete Carroll had final say over personnel decisions for all those years. So the team is finally now 2 drafts post Pete Carroll. It is finally now being built in the image. All these picks are at Schneider's feet.
Yep.
Whether they'll pan out and be great, we won't know. But you got to give the new coach and GM time to shape the team in their image. But unfortunately, that's not often a luxury that you get in the NFL.
Nope. And he was given and Aaron Glenn was given a lot of cliches yesterday during his press conference. Again, these are coach cliches. We have to acknowledge they're all coach cliches. The instant coffee league, look at the tape. These are all cliches the coaches all say, not just Aaron Glenn or Robert Saleh. We've heard it from them before. We've heard it from Robert Saleh, but every coach says it. Every first year or third year or second year head coach always says it. We got to look at the tape. This is not an immediate fix. It's an instant coffee league. Let's just chill. Let's take a deep breath. We'll recommiserate at the bye week. All right. Our hottest individual takeaways from week 2 of the NFL. I'm going to have you lead off here, Dustin. What's your hottest individual takeaway?
All right. Well, I don't have a hot take for this week. Nothing really stuck out to me, but I will say the aforementioned Uncle Al, which usually when I invoke his name, he appears in the comments. I'm surprised it hasn't happened, but he asked me a question after the heartbreaking Giants loss that he had. He said to me, would you rather lose the way the Giants lost, or would you rather that your team just got the doors blown off so that you can move on from it? And I thought that would be a good question to pose to everybody, including you, sir. Everybody in the comments, put your opinions in there. I can say, I think for me, it varies a little bit on the magnitude of the game, but the closer losses hurt more for me. Like, that's why I'm still bitter about the 49ers loss, because I felt like that was a winnable game for the Seahawks. And I felt like it was something that they could have accomplished. It was a close game. It was a defensive battle all game. And the Niners had injuries and et cetera, et cetera. The Seahawks did not take advantage of it. And they lost because Abe Lucas was shoved into Sam Darnold as he was trying to throw the ball. And that loss sticks with me than if they had just been beaten by 21. I would have moved on from it faster if they were beaten by 21, but the closer losses sting. That's my opinion, but I want to get yours, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I've seen both. I've seen both spectrums already in week 2. It's only week 2 this year. But yeah, the loss in week 1 to the Steelers, that one stung. That one actually stayed with me for 2 days. For a couple of days, not just, I try to give myself 24 hours to think about the loss, because I got to go on air the next day and talk about it. But this one kind of it stuck with me for a couple days because not only was it just a very close loss, and the Steelers needed absolute luck to win that game, but it was to Aaron Rodgers, and they yeeted him into the sun back in March or January, excuse me. So to have them lose to Aaron Rodgers and for him to get his revenge game, that hurt. And again, we saw it this week against the Bills where they absolutely got the doors blown off of them. But that was expected. Like we expected them to lose. I mean, if they were going to win, it was going to be a close game. If they're going to lose, it was going to be an absolute blowout. The latter happened. So I'll take a getting the doors blown off, especially if you're expecting it, than losing a close game.
Yeah.
And Kevin's saying, I'd rather get blown off the field than lose close. And Desi saying the close losses hurt, but the big losses he'll leave you feeling hopeless if there are enough of them. Sweetheart, as a Jets fan over the last 15 years, I've seen my share of blowouts. And yeah, it's easy to lose hope. That's for sure. All right. My hottest individual takeaway is actually not related to the NFL. College football rant incoming, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Last year, they were the college football playoff runner-up. They lost in the championship game to Ohio State. If it were up to me, I'd have both teams lose because I hate both those teams. But Notre Dame lost. Then they were in the preseason polls. They were ranked 6th. Like, all right, ranked sixth in the AP preseason poll. I forgot what the coaches were. I don't have time or the energy to look for it. The 62 voters in the AP poll, and yes, I looked it up. There are 62 voters in the AP poll, kept them in the top 10 after that loss to Miami on Labor Day Sunday. They actually moved up a spot after their bye week. This week they played Texas A&M at home, and they lost 41-40. An absolute thriller. You figure they're 0-2. They're 0-2. They lost at home. They lost away to two very good teams. You figure, all right, they're gonna be dropping out of the top 25 at 0-2. Nope. Notre Dame remains in the top 25 of the AP poll at number 24. They are a spot above their heated rival USC, who entered the ranking this week at 3-0. In the college poll, Notre Dame remains in the coaches poll at number 21. They are ranked above undefeated Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Auburn, who all walked into the top 25 after this week. And I have to wonder if the reason being that Notre Dame remains in those places, if they're ranked so high, it's because ESPN wants so badly for Notre Dame to get back in the college football playoff because it means ratings.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame has a big following, not just in Indiana, but nationwide. Poll standing means points in the CFP. So they'll do anything to get Notre Dame in the conversation. And because Notre Dame's an independent, they don't have to fight for a conference championship like every other team fighting for a playoff spot does. And they can get in because, at large, because tradition, which is so stupid. And Notre Dame, if you want me to take you seriously, join a conference. They're basically a de facto member of the ACC right now anyway. They're in the ACC in every sport except for ice hockey and football. In ice hockey, they're part of the Big Ten because the ACC doesn't have a hockey conference. That's neither here nor there. But if you want me to respect you more, Notre Dame, all right, join a conference. Join a conference like every other FBS team has to in the college football, and fight your way in like everybody else. You should not get a special exception because tradition, because you're independent, you want to stay independent. No, join a conference like everybody else. Join a conference and fight your way in like every other team in FBS, because this is ridiculous having them to stay in the top 25 in both college polls at 0-2 above teams that are more deserving and being ranked in place of teams that are more deserving. So that's my college football rant. That's why you see their head coach Marcus Freeman in the thumbnail. That's why he's there, because I just had to talk about this because it's so stupid, and it's part of the reason why I'm so jaded about college football. I'm trying to get into it this year, trying to get back into it this year, but stuff like this, it makes me want to stop following it, because I know you don't follow it because I showed you some of the scores from last week, like 70-0, 56-3, like these bigger schools beating up on the lower tiered schools because they give $500,000 to come in and get a beat down. But this is another reason why like college football is just I'm so jaded about it right now.
I agree with you. I agree with you because they bend over backwards. To me, if these polls had any meaning at all, they would go off of the records purely and the strength of the opponents that you beat. But that's not how it works, and we all know it. I am not a college football fan. I don't follow it, and even I know, that is not how people like to throw shade at the old ranking system and all this stuff and said, oh, that's got to change. I don't think, no matter what you do in college football, the rankings are always going to be flawed because of stuff like this and the aforementioned cupcake beatdowns that happen and things like that. It irritates me. I'm not going to lie. It irritates me.
Yeah. And this irritates me because it's Notre Dame. They're a quote traditional power. I'm putting in air quotes for those who are on the listening side. And yeah, they've won so many national titles. Everybody loves, people are the biggest fan base, in one of the biggest fan bases in the United States for college football. It's like enough. Like join a conference, fight it with everybody else, and like the rest of the country has to do. Don't get on your laurels because you're a quote traditional power. Like, maybe this year ain't your year.
Maybe.
Kevin's saying, I never liked Notre Dame. Even so, I predicted publicly they would beat Texas A&M. Absolutely hate them now. Yeah, I mean, I haven't liked them. I've never liked them since 1988 when they beat Major Harris in the Fiesta Bowl, and also before the Orange Bowl when they took on Colorado. And they said that that Colorado was living on a dream because Sal Anese, who was their quarterback who passed away from cancer, they were playing in his memory. And Lou Holtz said, that's a falsehood. It's a memory. We're going to go in there and beat them. It's like, get out of here, Lou Holtz. Man. Does he say I hit the polls this early in the season anyway? Yeah, they should stop the polls, and they should not have polls until like week 4. After this week, they should have it. Wonka's saying May has well kept the BCS grumble cakes.
That's what I was trying to think of, Wonko. So thank you.
BCS, the bowl
everybody
system,
hated the BCS system,
which is equally as stupid because Nebraska got in 2001. Nebraska got the national championship game and played Miami and got their doors blown off. And Colorado, who was number 3, beat Nebraska and decisively too, and had to play in the Rose Bowl against Oregon and got beat by Joey Harrington. Remember Joey Harrington?
I do.
Played piano. And does he say when the SEC goes to 9 games, the cupcakes will go away? Yeah, I mean they have that quote unquote quality opponent provision in their membership now. They have to play a so-called quality opponent every year early in the season. But I know I've seen in the past that Alabama has their share of cupcake opponents before they play Auburn. So not to throw shade at Alabama, that's just the way the schedule is. I mean, I can't control how the schedule goes. All right, before we get out of here, we're going to reveal our favorite athlete to wear number 66. There's no question. There's no question who it is. It's Mario Lemieux.
There you go.
It's Mario Lemieux. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, he knew it was coming. But I will say, shout out to D. Willie from the In or Out Sports Debate and the fearless leader of Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Certainly is.
For the sake of the content,
Oh!
I'm picking Alan Faneca.
Oh!
I am picking Hall of Famer Alan Faneca, and this just shows how great Alan Faneca was. I knew you were going to pick Lemieux, so I said I will let Ryan have the Lemieux spotlight. I'm going to pick Alan Faneca, who also played the majority of his career for a team in Pittsburgh, the Steelers. And he played 2 years, I think, on your Jets, and then finished up with the Cardinals, Ryan. That's a weird one. But he is he's on the NFL 2000s all-decade team. He played for 13 seasons. He's a first-team All-Pro, a 9-time Pro Bowl selection, and this is the most bitter pill to swallow. He won Super Bowl XL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the last time I'm going to talk about this Super Bowl. But hats off to Alan Faneca, okay? But, Ryan, I give the spotlight over to you to talk about Mr. Lemieux.
I'm waiting for Dizzy to drop an Alabama Crimson Tide football player in the chat, or basketball player. You never know. Yeah, let's talk about the great Mario Lemieux, Le Magnifique, the magnificent one, Super Mario, Ace. I don't know how you got the question. How he got Ace as a nickname. Played all his entire career with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is now a primary owner of said team. Hall of Famer, 2-time Cup winner in 91 and 92. Was certain to win the 93 Stanley Cup, but New York Islanders had something to say about that. And I'm surprised that our guy, Mr. Cruz, is not in the chat, but he's live right now too.
Oh yeah.
Won the Calder Trophy in 1984-85 as the Rookie of the Year. Won the Ted Lindsay Award. Was a Art Ross Trophy winner 6 times. Was a Conn Smythe Trophy winner twice. 3-time Hart Memorial Trophy winner, the Masterton Trophy winner in 1993, after he came back from a battle with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, is on the 100th anniversary team is one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. Wore the number 66 with class, with absolute scoring touch for such a big guy, 6'4", 230 pounds. Didn't speak a lick of English when he came into the league in 1984, but speaks it masterfully now. Finished his career in 2005, 2006. He only played 26 games that year, but he was instrumental in the development of Sidney Crosby. He wanted to be on the ice when Sidney Crosby was drafted. Didn't get to play with him in 2004-05 because of the stupid lockout that cost the season for the league overall. But here's the incredible part. He actually had retired the first time in 1996, 1997. He actually led the league in scoring that year with 122 points in a league that at the time had was more defensive. He still scored 122 points. He left the game that season, came back in 2001 amidst all the back problems, all the back issues, the cancer problems he had, and still played. He played 46 games that year, or 43 games that year. And I remember that night he came back. I think he played the Islanders that game, and his son Austin. He was there for his initial retirement and jersey retirement. I remember Austin was the one who took down that banner with his number that night. And Mario was on the ice. I think he scored a goal and I think he had 2 points in that game, a goal and an assist. It was a marvelous scene. I hated the Penguins in high school, hated them a lot, but my respect for them grew after Mario Lemieux came back and retired the first time and came back in 2000 or in 2000 and in 2000 went on to play another 4 seasons before officially hanging up the skates in 2006, and now is the current principal owner. I believe he's the principal owner of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like they wanted him, he saved that team. He saved that team twice from either going bankrupt or relocating. That's how special he is to the city of Pittsburgh. But that's my number 66. And yes, Alan Faneca did finish his career in Arizona and played for the Jets in 2008 and 2009. But here's Mario Lemieux's statistics: 690 goals scored, 1,033 assists, 1,723 points in 915 games. An incredible career. Absolutely incredible career. Desi saying, sorry, fellas, I could say Chase Warmack, but he also wore number 64. And I said him already. He's the only player to wear number 66 under Nick Saban. I would have counted that.
Yeah, we can count it. It's still impressive because you've had every number we've done, you've had a tied player for. So we will count it.
Yes. And by the way, we'll get the Homer Alert button for number 67, FYI. We're going to get out of here. Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
I did want to say that now, according per Google, now this is Gemini, so who knows? Yeah, right. But it says Mario Lemieux is a minority owner of the Pittsburgh Penguins after the Fenway Sports Group (FSG) purchased the majority stake in the team from the Lemieux Group for $900 million in December of 2021. Lemieux and the Lemieux Group were the previous majority owners.
Okay. All right. So thank you for that correction. I appreciate that. But I knew that there were majority owners for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And Mario Lemieux had a hand on pretty much everything. But
he saved that team
twice as a player and an owner. All right. We're going to get out of here. Again, Saturday, it's a 7:30 p.m. start Eastern time for us. Again, I'll be away Thursday through Saturday. Before we get out of here, though, Dustin, you've got something special coming up in November. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks at home what it's all about?
So some of you may remember this from last year and previous years that I've been on the show. I am doing Extra Life for what I believe is my 8th year on November 8th. It's fitting. I think it's usually the first Saturday in November, but I think they wanted to avoid that this year because it's the day after Halloween. So shout out to Extra Life for that. But on November 8th, I will be raising money for sick children. And it's going to benefit my local hospital, the Bernard and Millie Duker Hospital at Albany Med. That's local to me, but there are many, many children's hospitals affiliated with the Extra Life and Children's Miracle Network charities. If you would like to get involved, go to extralife.org and check out on information how you can create your own team and sign up and maybe join me on game day. Or if you would like to donate to my cause. I'm going to be going for as long as possible. I'm going to shoot for 24 hours, but I haven't made 24 hours in a couple of years now. I think the last time I made 24 hours was 2022. But I'm going to be playing game to raise money, like I said, for sick children local to my area. Your donation goes 100% to the hospitals. Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network do not take a percentage as a charity. Some charities do that. Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals does not do that. 100% of your donation goes to the sick children who need it. Let's help some sick children and maybe watch me struggle playing some video games. I've got a friend from Virginia. He's going to be joining it for as much as he can remotely. Ryan's been awesome enough to stop by and keep me company for a few hours in the past, hoping to do that again. I've got friends also showing up virtually to play. There's going to be some games on the docket. extra-life.org. My name is LDusto67. It's search for Dustin Henry on the Extra Life site. You can find me there. And if you feel like joining me on game day, it's twitch.tv, LDusto67. We'll be going. I usually start it at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. the information is right down. I'm gonna put in the description on the podcast side. Also on the Belly Up YouTube channel tomorrow. So they're cool with letting Dustin do the fundraiser and letting them use their platform to advertise
so
it.
much.
So I've let people know in the chat, hey, in our chat that go support Dustin, go check him out if you're a gamer, because we've had gaming channels before in Belly Up Sports, but yeah, Dustin's doing a great cause. Not all that money goes to Albany Medical Center, the Ronald McDonald House, the Duker Hospital, Duker Children's Hospital. They do great things for kids. Eli saying it's awesome, and he's got to check it out. So yeah, if Eli, if you have a gaming system, if you got a PS5, feel free to jump in and play some games with Dustin while he raises some money for a good cause. So, and again, it's like Dustin mentioned, all these donations are tax deductible, so you can take them off you can report them on your taxes for next year when you do your taxes before April 15th. But again, contribute, throw them a couple bucks, all goes to a good cause. In the meantime, we're going to get out of here. But thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Again, we'll be back 7:30 Eastern Time, Saturday night. Join us then as we review Thursday Night Football, and we also talk about the rest of Week 3 in the NFL, what we're looking forward to, what we're not looking forward to, who we're watching. But in the meantime, thanks again for joining us. Have a great week. We'll see you on Saturday.
Good night, everybody.